Hey girls, hey. Hey boys, hey. It's Mama Beauties here. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, hit that subscribe button. This is a place where we do not hate, we participate, we articulate, we speculate, and we agree to disagree. So, the Discovery Files is sensitive topic, you guys. It's adult content. There is a large trigger warning as I read these. And so I just want you to be aware of that. And I'm going to give you a quick update as soon as I catch my breath. Hi, everyone. Hi, Anna. Chronic Life. Casey Lynn. Donna. Great names are named alike. That's my name, Donna. Cynthia. I am doing fabulous, you guys. Absolutely fabulous. I am getting ready for Christmas. My presents are wrapped. My granddaughter has been here a lot in the last 10 days. That's why you guys haven't seen that much of me, because I would hate to go live and then her wake up from the nap, because you never know if the nap's going to be 20 minutes or 3 hours. And my son has Asperger's, so he's kind of jealous of the baby. And so I have to give her my undivided attention. She's 1 year old. She's just walking. And they are, how can I put this lightly? The great grandmother is a communal narcissist, or a covert narcissist, the kind that the book talks about, that does charitable work and hides. You can find these people in church. They get their narcissistic supply off of the praise that they get for being so generous and for helping others, but they only help others to be able to control you or have ulterior motives. They help others to grandstand so people can see it. They are the type of people that give, but they want their tip to be seen. They are the people that now, not everyone that puts a tip into a server's hand is a communal narcissist, but this woman is, and she has manipulated them to the point where they are living in her home and renting from her. And she just all of a sudden, right before my son-in-law's birthday, puts a note in their box and says that if they're late on rent, they're going to have to start paying late fees, and told my daughter to tell him that she's done with him, right? She's using my daughter to do her dirty work. And so I didn't like that. And so I volunteered to keep the baby any time that she would be going over there, so they don't feel the brunt of it, and that they don't have to bend for this woman, because she is extremely manipulative. And she is the type of person that doesn't celebrate the holidays, but in order to keep my daughter away from me on the holidays, she will cook or be extravagant just to take them away. And I am willing to split the holidays with her. Like, I gave her Thanksgiving so I could have Christmas, because she thinks Christmas is pagan and she doesn't celebrate. But her grandson's birthday is the 15th, and it's right before Christmas. So they've always made a big deal about his birthday, and bless his little heart, that didn't happen this year. And I just feel so bad for him. But he's going to be here on Christmas, and I take care of him just like he's one of my own. And so he gets the same amount of Christmas that my kids do, and he has a mom and me. So that's all good. And he does have a pretty good mom, but she is passive and an empath. And so she is easily manipulated by this communal narcissist. And I feel really bad, because my daughter is marrying into this family, but we are educated on it, and we are aware that, we looked up a lot of things on how you really have to pick your battles, because they're not going to change. People that think a communal narcissist is going to change is have the wool pulled over your eyes. So it is very close to home with us. Just another thing about this Watts case that we have going on in our lives as well. So we can see exactly what a communal narcissist looks like, and use that as ways to be aware and on alert and hyper vigilant from what this lady's next step's going to be. Let's see, Yeah, I don't want to talk about that case, you guys. It's fresh. It just happened last Thursday. We don't have enough information to speculate. I would hate to be the YouTuber that made a perfectly fine juror for this case not able to be able to sit in that trial because they watch my YouTube channel and I am saying that he's screaming that he's innocent or screaming that he's guilty. We have to be careful in these situations. I will cover that in a year. They're talking about the woman and the 3-week-old baby that is missing from Texas, and her husband went on the media without a lawyer once again, and he pled for her return. And so it's really hard to read, and me and my daughter have watched it. I don't mind to talk to you guys about it in email. I gave my email up at the top, and we can discuss what you think about it in email. But this is an open investigation that we are aware of. The NK thing, we're not sure if it's an open investigation. And actually, we've been told that it's not open. And so I am free to speak on that and speculate on that. But I'm not going to speculate on Shane Carey because I don't know. I don't have enough information. It does sound suspect, but he's also crying and devastated, and he is touching his face, which is a sign of lying, but he's also moving. His body movements are moving with him. They're not stone cold like Chris's were. So it does mirror a little bit, but the jury's still out on that, you guys, and I don't like to cover any kind of tragedy until at least a year has passed. And it's just not my gig. But I will talk to you in email all day long about it because I've been super intrigued since last week. This has been a week, and I know everything about it. I know what he did. I know where his story don't line up. I know where, we watched all the interviews. We watched the one in front of the apartment. We watched the one where he's in front of the Christmas tree, where he's sitting down and then he has to stand up. And so me and my daughter picked it apart here, but I just don't want to cover it yet on my channel. But I have seen the vultures are out, and they do that to get subscribers and they get views and stuff. And that my channel's not like that. My channel is a community. I don't care if I get another subscriber ever again. And if you haven't noticed, there's no ads in my videos. So if it's talking about tragedy or somebody legit died or was hurt, I'm not trying to make money off of that. The only thing you've ever seen an ad on my channel is a giveaway, or I'm going to start putting ads on my makeup tutorials that I'm going to do, my skincare tutorials, maybe my nail, putting on a set of nails, taking a set of nails off. I'll do that. But I am a sensitive person. Like, I have a lot of empathy. I am an empath, and I am not trying to hurt these people anymore. I mean, the poor baby Cy, I'm not even going to say his whole name. Imagine how he feels going to school and coming home and his mom's not there. So I'm not going to speculate on his dad until the police. I mean, why haven't the police sent out search and rescue? They know something. The police must know something to not have sent out any kind of search and rescue. So we haven't been given all the information. Therefore, I am not going to cover it. But let me explain to you guys right before I get into reading Discovery, another amazing thing that happened to me in the last 24 hours. Okay, so all my kids are taken care of for Christmas. The car is paid for, so nobody feels sorry for me. Everybody take care of yourself for Christmas. I am by no means asking for money, okay? Because I've gotten taken care of. But I didn't know how I was going to go live again. The last time I went live, when I shared about the murderers in my live, at the end of that, StreamYard sent me a message, and they said that I have reached my live stream limit on my free account, and that I had already live streamed for 20 hours, and that I could wait till January 4th when it flipped over and gave me 20 new hours, or I could sign up for the plan, which was $25 a month. Well, I just paid my lot rent. I own my home. So I just spent all the rest of my money paying my lot rent, which is something that I have to pay anyway. And so I looked at my PayPal and I had $4 and something cents in it. Okay. So I knew that I couldn't pay for StreamYard until either my YouTube money hits sometime on the 21st, or if I sold some nails or something like that. Okay, so I wasn't going to be able to go live today or tomorrow or until the 21st. And if my YouTube money didn't hit then, it could be as late as the 23rd. So I checked my email last night, and a woman had reached out to me and said that she needed 6 sets of nails, you guys. Okay. And then I checked my PayPal, and somebody, one of my lovely subscribers that purchased from my pop-up shop, had saw that I paid $8 for shipping instead of 4, and she sent me an extra $4. So I had $9 in my PayPal at this point. And so then the lady said that she wanted the 6 sets of nails, which was amazing for me because StreamYard is $25 a month, you guys. And so I told her that I would get the nails to her. I'm going to go to the post office and priority mail it to her. She sent the $8 for shipping, of course, and the $30 for the 6 sets of nails. And I was able to pay for StreamYard, you guys, just a little while ago after the transaction went through. And so I'm good for a month from today. And that just fell out of the sky. And I still have like $9 left over, or maybe more if I'm doing the math wrong, in my PayPal account. So I'm telling you, there's just sometimes things just work out. Sometimes they don't. The majority of the time they don't. But it's just really cool to take notice and stop and take it in and be like, man, I'm just one lucky girl, right? And to be humble about it and enjoy it, because it doesn't happen often. Hey, girl. Hey. All right, let's do discovery. I'm drinking hot tea. Of course, my nose is going to be running. But let's do this. I had another subscriber send me this awesome little koala cloth, which cleans glasses. I am just so blessed to have this community, you guys. I enjoy each and every one of you and your emails and your comments. And I'll do a video soon where I read the comments and answer them for you. I try to like or love all of them. If I've missed yours, it's not because I don't like or love it. It's just that I overseen it. If I don't like your comment, which I have rarely had to delete any, but I will delete it. And I haven't had to do that because I'm not worried about being monetized. You see, a lot of comments people have to delete. Creators have to delete it because it's going to get their video demonetized. But mine aren't monetized to begin with, so you can't get it demonetized. And that's why a lot of creators aren't coming after me, because they can't get me demonetized on something I haven't monetized. Hi, everybody. All right, we're starting on 674. And on Wednesday, September 5th, 2018, Colorado Bureau of Investigation field agent Greg Zentner interviewed Kelly Burke on the phone in connection to the Watts homicide case. Burke was a lifelong friend of Shanann Watts. On Wednesday, September 5th, I contacted Kelly Burke and conducted an interview with her over the telephone. Burke lives in New Jersey. The interview was recorded. The following is a summary of the interview. For a complete account, please review the attached audio file. Burke said she'd known Shanann Watts since they were children. Burke said they lived in the same neighborhood when they were growing up. Burke said she lost contact with Shanann for a while, but they were able to reconnect via Facebook about 10 years ago. Burke said she's been out to Colorado on a couple of occasions to visit Shanann. Burke said the last time she was in Colorado was 2014, which would have been 4 years earlier, you guys. Burke said that the last time she saw Shanann was the last part of 2018 when she met Shanann in New Orleans for a Thrive conference. Burke said they were together for about 5 days at this conference. Burke said she and Shanann stayed in the same hotel for their stay. Oh, the same hotel room for their stay. Burke said Shanann never said anything to her about having any relationship issues with Watts. Burke said she never saw anything that led her to believe that Shanann and Chris were having problems in their marriage. But this was April, you guys, of 2018. So this would have been before he got hot and heavy with NK, supposedly. I believe that they got together or at least ran into each other up to a year before her murders. But she's saying that Shanann wasn't saying there was anything wrong with Chris in April of that year that he killed her. And Burke said that she never saw anything that led her to believe Shanann and Chris were having problems in their marriage. And she said she overheard several conversations that Shanann had with Chris on the phone. And Burke said the conversations appeared to be normal and not contentious. Burke said the last time she had any contact with Shanann was about a week before Shanann and the girls were reported missing, about August 5th. Burke said Shanann was telling her that she was ready to go back to Colorado from North Carolina. Burke said Shanann was also texting her about how excited she was to go to Arizona for the most recent Thrive concert coming up on the weekend of August 11th through the 12th. Burke said on Monday, August 13th at about 6 p.m., she saw a Facebook post from Shanann's brother, Frankie, about Shanann, Bella, and Celeste were missing. Burke said she called Shanann's mother and learned Shanann and the girls were reported missing and the police had Shanann's cell phone. Burke said that Shanann's mother told her that Chris hadn't been himself while he was in North Carolina. And Chris was standoffish during his visit to North Carolina during the first week of August. Burke said Shanann's mother also commented about Chris backing his pickup truck in the driveway early in the morning on Monday, August 13th. Burke said this was unusual and concerning to Shanann's mother. Burke said she started texting Shanann's husband after she spoke to Shanann's mother. Burke said she was texting Chris to find out what was going on. Burke had set several text message exchange with Chris on Monday night and Tuesday during the day. Burke provided screenshots of the text messages she had with Chris. Please see the attached screenshots of text messages between Burke and Chris. Nothing further. And then it has 9 screenshots between Burke and Chris. And then the audio file of that interview. And then a screenshot from Facebook of Kelly Burke and Shanann Watts is what it says. So the next interview. Oh no, Mobay, you're not feeling well? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. All right. During the investigation into Shanann, Bella, and Celeste Watts murders, Chris Watts had stated during his interview that he did not perform any life-saving measures on his daughters because he had never been taught CPR as it pertained to children. This report documents follow-up conducted related to Chris prior CPR training through his employer, Anadarko. So he had been CPR certified through Anadarko. So that's another lie that they caught him in. On Wednesday, August 15th, Chris Watts was interviewed regarding the disappearance of his pregnant wife and 2 young daughters. Chris later admitted during his interview that he observed his wife actively strangling his 3-year-old daughter. And Chris stated he observed Celeste was already blue and limp, so he did not perform resuscitation or any life-saving measures, including not calling 911. Chris went on to state he did not perform CPR on Celeste because he only had adult CPR training, which was used adult mannequins, and he wouldn't even know how much pressure to use on a child. So this just goes, I'm only reading this because we all know that's bullcrap. He did not. Shanann didn't hurt the girls. He admitted that later on. But I just read this so you guys can see how far he will take his lie. When he was lying about Shanann and the girls and how he was saying Shanann did it, and they asked him, why are you lying and saying that you didn't know CPR? And he goes, oh, well, I didn't know CPR for kids. I only did it on adult mannequins. friends. So he will just keep going and going and going, just like he convinced the teacher by writing the report. I think it was in high school or middle school that he had went to Hawaii over the summer, and he was really proud of that. He was proud of the fact that he had convinced the teacher. And in the parent teacher conference, they even asked, how was Hawaii? And Chris was just a fool, but that just shows how good he was at lying and how far he would take his lies. All right, so they sent over the spreadsheet of when Chris did the CPR class and showed that he was actually certified, but it really didn't matter because Shanann had not killed the girls, and it didn't go down the way that he said it did in that first confession. So the next interview is, I think people should be careful putting his name next to Watts. Each case should be looked at totally separate. I agree. Thank you, girl. Preach, Teresa. Yes. I mean, come on. And it is something totally separate. And we don't want to take away from that case. And we don't want to impede that case. We don't want to get in the way with it. We don't want to cause speculation that doesn't need to be out there. And so that's why I'm just not going to speak on it anymore. But I'll write you a book and email about it. We can talk about it in email for sure. All right, page 684 is on Thursday, September the 6th, CBI field agent Greg Zettner interviewed Lauren Arnold in connection to the Watts homicide. Arnold was a lifelong friend of Shanann Watts. On Thursday, September 6th, I contacted Lauren Arnold and conducted an interview with her at the CBI Denver office located in Lakewood, Colorado. The interview was recorded. The following is a summary of the interview. For a complete account, please review the attached audio. Arnold told me the following. Arnold said she met Shanann when they were a freshman in high school in 1999 in Pinehurst, North Carolina. Arnold said she lost contact with Shanann for about a year before they reconnected on Facebook. Arnold said Shanann and Chris Watts moved out to Colorado in about 2013, and Arnold moved to Colorado about a year later. Arnold said the first time she met Chris was in 2014. Arnold said her first impression of Chris was that he was a very nice and kind of quiet. Arnold continued and said Chris seemed attentive to Shanann, Bella, and Celeste. Arnold said nothing about Chris's demeanor struck her as unusual. Arnold said she has seen Shanann and Chris about once a month for the last 4 years. Arnold said it was very common for her and her fiance to go to Shanann's house for a dinner party or a football party or to talk about Thrive. Arnold said she is very familiar with Chris because of these get-togethers. Arnold said she never heard Shanann talk about my fidelity issues she and Chris were having in their marriage, or any fidelity issues that they were having. Arnold said Shanann and Chris appeared to have an equal relationship and shared responsibilities. Arnold said that they appeared to communicate very well with each other and they were very affectionate with each other. Arnold said they appeared to act as a team when caring for their kids. Arnold thought the life that Shanann portrayed on Facebook was very close to how Arnold saw their lives in reality. Arnold said she did see a change recently in the way Chris interacted with Shanann. Arnold said within the last 6 months, Chris appeared to be standoffish towards Shanann. Arnold continued and said Chris was keeping to himself more than usual. Arnold provided an example of one day when she was at Shanann's house. Chris came home from work and went straight upstairs and didn't acknowledge Arnold's presence, meaning Lauren. Lauren said Chris stayed upstairs while she was at the house and didn't come down to interact with anyone. Lauren said she noticed Chris was not affectionate towards Shanann during that time frame. Lauren said that she also noticed the conversations she witnessed with Shanann on the phone to Chris were becoming shorter as the time went on. Lauren said the actions were very different from the way she had seen Chris act in the past. Lauren spoke about some issues she knew Shanann and Chris were having in their marriage. Lauren said she knew that they had filed for bankruptcy a few years ago. Lauren said she knew that Shanann and Chris occasionally argued about money. Lauren said she also knew that Chris's mother was very disrespectful towards Shanann and frequently questioned Shanann's ability to be a good mother. Lauren said the last time she saw Shanann was about a week before Shanann and the girls went to North Carolina. Lauren said that was about the last week of June. Lauren said Shanann talked to her about being pregnant, and Lauren said Shanann was excited about having another baby. Lauren said Shanann told her that Chris also wanted another baby, and he wanted to have a baby boy. Lauren said the last time she spoke to Shanann was on Saturday, August 11th. Lauren said their phone conversation was short because Shanann was in Arizona for a Thrive conference. Lauren said they spoke about having a gender reveal party for Shanann's baby. Lauren said they had plans to get together later in the week to go over these plans. Lauren said she tried to Facebook message Shanann on Sunday, August 12th, but Shanann did not respond. Lauren said she tried to contact Shanann on Monday, August 13th between 11:30 a.m. and 12 p.m. She asked her about the doctor's appointment. Lauren said Shanann did not respond, which Lauren thought was unusual because Shanann always had her phone with her. Lauren said at about 1:30 she saw a post on Facebook from Shanann's brother Frankie that said Shanann, Bella, and Celeste were missing. Lauren said she eventually drove over to Shanann's house at about 5 p.m. to see if she could find out more information about the situation. Lauren said she didn't text Chris because she didn't have his phone number. Lauren said she called several friends she had in common with Shanann, and none of them had heard from Shanann. Lauren said she did not talk to Nicole Atkinson and learned she had been at Shanann's house earlier in the day and had called the police. Lauren said she went to the house and knocked on the front door, and Chris answered it. Lauren said Chris gave her a hug and invited her inside. Lauren said she saw Amanda and Nick Thayer inside the house as well. Lauren said she asked Chris if he was okay, and Chris replied no. Lauren said she walked into the house. She started looking around to see if she could see anything that might indicate where Shanann and the girls may have gone. Lauren said she first noticed that Shanann's flip-flop shoes were by the front door. Lauren said Shanann always wore those shoes, and she was somewhat surprised they were in the house if Shanann had left. Lauren said she also saw a carry-on suitcase and a handbag, which appeared to be still be packed. Lauren said she also saw some of the kids' toys next to one of the chairs in the living room area. Lauren said she thought the toys by the chair was a little strange because Shanann always kept the house very clean and the toys appeared to be out of place. Lauren then commented that she glanced up the stairs towards where the bedrooms were located. Lauren said Chris noticed her glance up the stairs and he spontaneously commented to her, I had to close the doors upstairs. I had to close all of the doors because I can't handle going up there and seeing everything like the toys and stuff. Lauren said she found this comment to be very strange because there were several toys scattered around the house on the main level, and these toys didn't seem to be bothering Chris. Well, let's finish up. I just want to make sure I'm keeping up with the chat. I guess she didn't, Melinda. Lauren said she asked Chris if he had gone out to look for Shanann and the girls. Lauren said Nick Thayer answered this question by saying the police told them that going out and looking for Shanann and the girls wasn't going to do anything good. Lauren said she then asked Chris again if he had gone to look for Shanann, and he repeated what Nick Thayer said about the police telling him not to go looking. Lauren said that she thought this was very strange. Lauren said as she was talking to Chris, she noticed he was wearing a tank top shirt and she was checking his arms and hands for any signs of injuries. Lauren said she did not see any injuries on Chris. Lauren said she noticed when she was asking Chris questions about Shanann, Chris would avoid eye contact with her and he would look at the floor when he would answer. Arnold. Arnold said she thought his behavior was strange and commented that Chris didn't seem concerned about Shanann or the kids. Lauren explained further and said Chris appeared to be somewhat confused and he didn't appear present in the moment. Lauren said she continued to talk to Chris. He mentioned he was going to try and go back to work on Tuesday. Lauren said she thought it was weird for Chris to want to go to work when his wife and kids were still missing. Lauren said Chris explained that he didn't want to be in the house and he didn't know where else to go. Lauren said she left the house around 5:30 p.m. This was the last time Lauren spoke to Chris. Lauren said she drove around the neighborhood for a few minutes to see if she could find any sign of Shanann and the girls. Lauren said she did not see anything useful, so she went home and started calling friends and asking if anyone had seen Shanann. Lauren said none of their friends had heard from Shanann. Lauren said she saw the interview Chris gave on the television Tuesday night. Lauren described Chris as cocky, and his interview appeared to be rehearsed and odd. Mm-hmm. They always seem to be rehearsed. That's one thing, is it will seem rehearsed if they are guilty. Staged, practiced, recited, memorized, all of those words. All right, so on page 687, it says investigative supplement report for September the 7th. And see how this is what it looks like. So I'm just going to read it off to you guys. But it is, the occurrence evidently happened to Stacy Galbraith. And there was an online social media post located by CBI analyst Jillian Ganley on 9/6 in reference to this case, which Aubrey Shepard posted on 8/29. I met Chris and Shanann on a popular adult site back in February. I had sex with both of them on 3 different occasions in 2-month period. I think Chris talked her into trying the swinger lifestyle, but she wasn't that into it. She definitely would have put the brakes on any extramarital activity now that she is pregnant. I think this is part of the reason he snapped. Can you believe that people would do that? It appears the account may have been created for the sole purpose of posting the comment listed above. Frederick Police Department was contacted and informed about the inability to identify the author. So this is just sick. This just shows the kind of world that we live in, where people feed off of other people's pain, right? We all know that was BS, but for someone to take the time to go to the extreme to do that, they're just idiots. So then another tip came in. It says they contacted a Laura McEver who had posted on Facebook that she had a relationship with Chris Watts, and McEver confirmed the posting was fake. So that they contacted Lauren McEver. Sorry, that was the police agent that they contacted Lauren McEver about Facebook post in which she claims, oh no, Laura is the one making the post. That is just so weird, and I'm wondering if the mistress had anything to do with any of this, trying to throw a loop or a wrench in the investigation. It's just awful. So somebody claimed they had a relationship with him, and then they proved that it was a fake post. So they were getting these tips in that were taking them away from what was important because they were having to filter through this BS. All right, on Friday, September the 7th, CBI field agent Craig Zentner contacted Laura McEver on the phone in connection to a Facebook posting in which she claimed she had a relationship with Chris Watts. On Friday, September the 7th, I investigated a Facebook post in which someone with the name of Laura Forsyth claims she had a relationship with Chris Watts. The posting read, Chris and I met at the local tavern a few times. We acted like teenagers in the back of his truck. He made me feel like I was the only one. The posting was under the name Laura Forsyth. Chris Watts' accused killer of Shanann Watts and children. CBI analysis Jillian Ganley was able to locate a phone number connected to this Facebook account and the phone number connected to Laura McEver. I contacted McEver through the phone and identified myself as a member of the CBI, and I was investigating the Watts homicide. I asked her about the Facebook post, and McEver confirmed the post was fake, and she did it to try and prove a point that other people have nothing better to do than to talk about other people on Facebook. Are you kidding me, lady? I informed McEver she had wasted the investigators' time and resources trying to track her down to confirm if she claimed was true, and she hung up the phone. See, that's what I just said. It's creepy that I just said that before I read it. But yeah, I just said they were like impeding the investigation. You were getting in the way, taking up valuable time that they could have been using to investigate something else on this crap. I just can't believe people do that. People take the time to do it. And a lot of this is going on YouTube as well about other creators. All right, so page 693 of Discovery says on Tuesday, September the 11th, CBI field agent Greg Zettner received an information report from the Inglewood Police Department about Amber Falvo's possible interaction with Chris Watts. I interviewed Falvo via telephone. Right? That 15 minutes of fame, for sure. You got that right, Chronic. And then it says on Tuesday, September 11th, I received an information report from the EPD about Amber Falvo's possible interaction with Chris Watts. I contacted Falvo by telephone and inquired about her knowledge of Watts. Falvo said she works at Anadarko in the downtown Denver office. Falvo says she has never seen or met Watts. They just happen to work for the same company. Falvo said recently she has been targeted on Facebook by several people accusing her of being the other woman in Watts' life and wrecking the Watts family. Falvo said these comments were made on private Facebook sites, and the only reason she knew about them was because Anadarko has hired a third party to monitor all social media related to the Watts case and any connection to Anadarko. Falvo said she tried to make a police report to the EPD, but she said they didn't seem interested in taking a report. Falvo said the EPD told her the threats did not rise to the level of a crime. Falvo said someone put her address on Facebook, posting along with her phone number. Falvo said she is concerned that someone may try to contact her in connection to the Watts homicide case. This information was forwarded to the Weld County DA for tracking, and then the attachment is the picture, I guess, of the Facebook post. Yep. Hey, little lady D.I. Little lady D. All right. So next is another tip. Oh, these get crazy. I hate reading these. They get out of this world. All right. Let's see what this idiotic tip is. All right, so Jillian Ganley had to take this tip. The reporter's name was Dave Baumhover. And it says on Tuesday, August 14th, I reached out to Dave Baumhover at the Frederick Police Department regarding a missing persons poster they had put out. The situation was discussed, and it was decided that an endangered missing alert would be most appropriate. The alert was issued on 8/14 at 3:20. The alert was canceled at 8:33 p.m. On Tuesday, August 14th at around 11:28, I received an email from Devon Rhodes at the CIAC. He included a news article about a missing woman and her 2 children in Frederick, Colorado. He wanted to know if we had seen it and if we were doing anything about it. I told him I had not, but that I would check it with the agency to see if we could be of assistance. Rhodes stated he had not received any requests from the Frederick Police Department. At 11:44, I called the number provided on the missing persons flyer and asked to speak with Detective Baumhower. I told him that I had seen the missing person poster and wondered if he considered doing any kind of alert. He stated that he was pretty overwhelmed and asked if he could run the whole situation past me to see if there was anything CBI could do to help. The facts at the time were these: 34-year-old Shanann Watts and her two daughters were missing. Shanann had been on a trip to Arizona for the weekend, and the two girls had been home with their dad. Christopher Watts, Shanann had returned to the house around 1:48 a.m. Monday, August 13th, as confirmed by Nicole Atkinson. And Nicole had been on a trip to Arizona with Shanann. She had driven Shanann home from the airport. She confirmed she saw Shanann go in the house around 1:48 a.m., and that was the last time Nicole had seen or heard from Shanann. The next day, Nicole attempted to contact Shanann several times but never received a response. This was very unlike Shanann, who in general was very responsive. Nicole went to Watts' residence to check on Shanann later that morning. She saw that Shanann's car was still in the garage and her favorite flip-flops were by the door. This was alarming to Nicole. Nicole knew Shanann was scheduled for a doctor's appointment that morning, so she went there to check. She was told by the doctor's office Shanann had not showed up. Nicole Atkinson became very worried and she contacted Chris. Chris stated he had not heard from Shanann. Nicole stated she could tell something was wrong, that Chris needed to come home from work immediately. Nicole then called the Frederick Police Department to report a missing person. Frederick police arrived at the residence at 1:36 to do a welfare check. Police arrived around the same time that Chris arrived at the house. Officers entered the house with Chris's permission and swept the residence. They found that all of Shanann's personal items were left in the home, including her keys, her wallet, her medicine. The girls' medicine, car seats were left at the house. Upon further search, her phone was found. Chris informed the police that around 4 a.m., he told Shanann that he wanted a separation because of the unusual circumstances. The Frederick Police Department decided to fly drones over the open space around the Watts residence and had cadaver dogs go through the house. According to Detective Baumhauer, the dogs had just hit on an area near the basement stairs a few minutes before I had called. He stated that an additional dog was on its way to confirm the hit. After learning all the facts, I relayed to him that I thought an endangered missing alert may be appropriate, but what I needed to confer with the supervisor. He then informed me that the Frederick Police Department was running out of resources and he wondered if we could provide any investigative assistance as well. I informed him that we would be happy to send a couple of agents to the scene to assist. I informed him I would check with my supervisor regarding the potential alert and would get back to him. I also told him that in the meantime, agents would respond to assist. He thanked me for reaching out and agreed to talk soon. Next, I went to relay the situation to Assistant Director Volts and asked him to help rounding up several agents to send to Frederick. He agreed with my plan and he left to touch base with Detective Baumhover and to assign agents to the case. I then ran the whole situation past my supervisor, Audrey Simpkins. I stated that my preference regarding the alert would be to wait until they completed the second sweep of the house with the dogs. If they confirmed the hit, I would prefer not to issue, given that the hit would indicate one or more members of the family was no longer alive and was not actively missing and in danger. If the hit could not be confirmed, we would issue the alert. Supervisory Analyst Simpkins agreed with the plan, as did Assistant Director Volts. That's why they canceled the alert, is because one of the dogs hit. Okay. Good luck in court, Elizabeth. Hey, Veronica. Good morning to you. Next, I contacted agent in charge, Kirby Lewis, to inform him of the situation, just to keep him apprised. He also agreed with the plan and stated that he would do all he could to help. I informed Detective Baumhover of this plan and of the fact that several agents were en route to assist I then prepared the endangered missing bulletin just in case and proceeded with normal business. So they canceled the endangered missing bulletin because the dog hit in the basement and they knew that one or more were dead. And in a case of a mother and her two children, if one is dead, we can almost assume that the other two were. So that makes sense. I always wondered that, why they canceled it. Around 2:33 p.m., I heard from Agent Tammy Lee, who stated that the dog's hit was not substantiated with the second dog and requested that the alert be sent out. I sent out the endangered missing alert at 3:20. So only that one dog we heard at this time of them typing up this report. Only the dog had hit in the basement, and they brought another dog in to make sure that the second dog would hit where that dog did, and the second dog did not hit in the basement, so they didn't get a confirmation of the first hit. So that's why they went ahead and put it out there. Yes, I bet he was too. And when the FBI got involved, even more. I think this is the CBI, when they asked for the CBI to help. It says that over the next hour, I received several calls from Agent Tammy Lee and Agent Kevin Kovac requesting that I run background on all individuals involved. So then it says see 2018-273/38 for further details of the analytical work done on this case. I wish we could get a hold of those files. The 2018-273/38, because that's the analytical work, which is everything, the background checks on everybody and stuff they dug up. And then it's got the address of the Watts, 2825 Saratoga Trail. Alrighty, next up we have page 699, and it just goes into the missing person exempt, missing person exempt, missing person subject. It just tells us their birthdays and that they were missing. So that's $6.99. All right, then this is the report that they put out, Endangered Missing Advisory, and this is when they put out the report with everyone's pictures. So this is a request for your voluntary cooperation in airing the following information either as an alert message or in your next newscast until you receive a cancellation form. The EAS will not be activated for this alert. And it just goes into what they look like and where they were last seen at, and has nose piercing. So sad to see those, you guys. Let's see. I'm baking muffins, pumpkin bread, fudge, cherry. Yum, Brandy. I want to come to your house. I believe he was the only detective with the Frederick PD. Talk about stress even before the outcome was what it was. Yes. My heart breaks for those detectives and all the police department. Absolutely, sister. Hey, Mama, I'm back from my travels and I missed y'all's true crime peeps. Hello. Hey, AJ, aka Audrey. I'm so glad you're back. The police department wouldn't work so much. Yes, if Chris Watts was honest. That's right. So this says Monday, August 13th at 1:30 p.m. Shanann Watts and her two daughters were last seen on Monday, August 13th. Shanann is 15 weeks pregnant. There's no vehicle associated at this time. If you have questions or information about this missing persons media alert, please contact the requesting law enforcement agency. And then it gives the telephone number of the CBI where all these tips were coming in. So next, page 705 is Colorado Bureau of Investigation Forensic Services Division. And this is a lab report, it seems to be. But don't hold me to it. But I'll read it. Initial information. On Tuesday, August 14th, 2018, at approximately 2300 hours, which would be 11 p.m., you guys, CBI crime scene analysis D. Yoakum was contacted by CBI crime scene manager D. Maloney and requested to respond to 2825 Saratoga Trail in Frederick, Colorado at 6 a.m. on Wednesday, August 15th, to assist with the processing of a residence in which 3 family members have been reported missing by their families and friends. Now, this is Wednesday when they did this little CBI sweep of the residence. After Chris stayed up all night Monday night cleaning it, vacuuming it, busting out the bleach and everything. So they weren't going to find Jack when they went there on Wednesday. They should have did that on Monday and kicked Chris out on Monday. But I know there's a process and things work the way that they work. But I just wish they would have been able to do that earlier. Hey, Patty. Hey, Patty. Hey. I love me some Patty. Sorry. Julie, hey girl. Melinda. Yes, I would love to come over, Brandy. You can mail me some fudge, girl. You're just reminding me that I haven't made my fudge, and I have got to. I've got to, because I didn't make it last year, and it's a tradition that my deceased mom left with me. And so, yes, they contaminated the crime scene. Actually, my fudge story is kind of funny, you guys. When my mom passed away, I remember every year when I was younger trying to get her and my grandma to let me help with the fudge, but they just thought that I wanted to lick the bowl and stick my dirty little kid fingers all up in everything, and so they never helped me. Or they never let me. And so I never got the fudge recipe. My grandmother passed, my mom died when she was murdered by my stepdad when she was 40. So my grandmother got Alzheimer's and went downhill right after my mom was murdered. And it just blew her mind that her daughter's case was a cold case. And she got Alzheimer's and she died shortly after. So I never got to learn how to can, which I wanted to learn how to can green beans, because those are the best green beans I've ever ate in my life, are canned green beans, picked and popped. And I wanted to learn how to make those jellies and the fudge. So I was pretty devastated that I didn't get the family recipes before they passed. And so I ended up looking up Cherry Yum Yum online and getting it, and it was identical to my grandmother's. And so I was happy about that, right? So then I looked up the fudge online and I made it, and it was horrible. It was nothing like their fudge. And so then I went in the store and I looked on the back of the Jet Puff. There is a recipe on the back of the Jet Puff that you buy for fudge. And that fudge, you guys, was my parents' secret recipe. It was my mom's secret recipe, my grandma's, all of that. So the funny thing is that the secret recipe wasn't really a big secret. It was the actual recipe on the back of the Jiffy Puff or whatever. So I have that recipe as well. And now I just need somebody to email me on how to can green beans and how to can jellies. And do I need a pressure cooker? And do they even make those things anymore? I remember them whistling when the stuff was done, when my mom and grandma were making it. I can give you the recipe for Cherry Yum Yum. I have it written down. It's so good, girl. Just email me, Cynthia, and I'll give you the recipe for Cherry Yum Yum. It's so yummy. My mom's name is Joyce. Great name. Yes. I'm not saying this to be mean or about what good would it have done to found more at the crime scene. Chris is where he belongs and he'll never get out. Yes, but the other people that may have been attached to this case got away with some things. We would have more closure, Joyce. We would know for sure that NK wasn't involved had the crime scene not been cleaned up. That's what we would. It has nothing to do with Chris and everything to do with other people and possibly being involved. So back to Discovery. Oh, I believe it's your own recipe for fudge, Brandy. Everybody has their own. But what I was saying is out of all the fudges I kept tasting, none of them was my favorite. The recipe that I'd been, founded on, grew up on. I didn't like any other fudge. It would be either too sweet or not enough puff or whatever. I was used to this certain kind of family fudge, and it's hilarious that it was the one on the back of the puff. I could just taste it immediately. And so immediately I started making peanut butter. I would make fudge with nuts, fudge without peanut butter fudge, mint chocolate fudge. I made butterscotch fudge. That was my dad's favorite before he passed away, was the butterscotch and the peanut butter. But yeah, now my daughter knows how to make all these kind of fudge, and it's our family recipe. It's okay, girl. You ain't got to apologize. Exactly. Okay, so yes, and we were very fortunate with Chris that he confessed and it didn't have to go to trial, because they would have needed a lot of stuff if it went to trial, and they would have interviewed a lot more people and they would have been digging deeper. But because he took that plea deal, they didn't have to dig. So a lot of things was just checked on a surface level, so to speak. All right, after the Saratoga Trail scene was processed, I was notified at 16:30 hours on August 15th by CSM Maloney to respond to a remote location in Rogan, Colorado to process the scene where the missing persons had been allegedly taken to and disposed of. On Monday, August 20th, CSM Maloney requested I respond to 2041 Oak Street in Frederick, Colorado to assist with the processing of two vehicles that belong to the suspect in the case. The vehicles potentially have been used in transporting the deceased bodies of the three victims from the residence. Upon my arrival at the residence at 5:45 hours, I met with Frederick Police Department Detective Bohmhover and Officers Walji and I. Perez. According to Detective Bohmhover, the house had been searched with the consent of the owner, Chris Watts, on at least 3 different occasions. The searches were conducted by members of the Frederick Police Department and included canine searches from cadaver dogs. Detective Bohmhover also stated the owner, husband, and father of the missing woman and children, Chris Watts, had given consent to collect any and all evidence that police could use to locate his missing family. Putz also stated, I'm going to start calling him a putz. What is the actual definition of a putz? Does anybody know that? Is it bad? Is it like super derogatory? Does it have anything to do with private areas or whatever? Because I want to call him something besides his name. I'll just say CW. All right, that's even better. CW also stated to Detective Bohmhover the home could be processed with forensic methods to obtain evidence relating to his family's disappearance. So, Detective Bohmhover and I agreed that I would photograph the residence, utilize Blue Star latent bloodstain reagent on areas alerted by the canines, and then assist with the collection of any evidence located in the residence. It was agreed upon that CBI would not collect the evidence. The Frederick Police Department would collect and package all evidence located in the search. According to Detective Bohmhover, CW had been living in and accessing the home prior to and since the disappearance of his family on Monday. Scene observations. Yeah, what is a putz? I wanted to call him Chris Putz instead of Chris Watts. But is it a rich penis? Really? I'm so confused. Is it a jerk? Does anyone know what it is? Let me just Google it real fast. Where's my tablet? Somebody Google that word. And if it's not too derogatory, like I don't want to be using genitalia as a word. But if that's what it is in the dictionary, then I'm going to start calling him Chris Putz. Okay, so scene observations. The neighborhood and home is located within a newer residential area consisting of large single-family homes. 2825 Saratoga Trail is a two-story single-family residence located on the south side of the street with the front doors facing north towards Saratoga Trail. The home has 5 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms with office space, an unfinished basement, and a 3-car garage. Dang, that's nice. Upon entering the front door, there is a living room and a dining room. To the left is a staircase that leads to the upstairs bedrooms, laundry, and loft area. Near the suitcase that leads upstairs. Near the staircase that leads upstairs is a hallway that runs to the east side of the house. The hallway provides access to the basement stairs, a bathroom, utility room, garage entrance, and an office. On the south side of the residence is a full kitchen, eating area, and additional family room. A door on the south side of the kitchen opens to the backyard of the home. The upstairs portion of the home consists of 3 bedrooms, a playroom, a laundry room, and a central living television room. The home is in like new condition with no visible signs of damage and was clean and organized. A walkthrough of the home showed no signs of forced entry at all basement and first floor windows. No doors appeared to have been forced or damaged. Next is scene processing. Google says it's a stupid or mindless person. Yes. It's exactly what he is. Yes, that is what it is. Chris Putz. All right, so photos were scene processing. Photos were taken of the scene. Blue Star latent blood regimen was applied to all bathroom fixtures, tub, shower, sink, toilet, which resulted in no signs of blood pretty much. And where he smothered everyone. So this bringing I'm glad they did the blood analysis thing, but they're not going to find any kind of blood during this because he smothered and strangled his victims. Blue Star was also applied at the locations where the searching canines had alerted. And it says here that the searching canines alerted in the mudroom, by the garage, and at the top of the basement stairs in the hallway to the mudroom. But we all saw that dog alert downstairs by that little spot on the if you go back and you look where the canine alerts in the basement, it's when he is down by the stairs, like at the bottom of the stairs, even towards under the stairs. That dog goes crazy, but they're not putting it into discovery that a dog alerted in the basement. And I don't understand why. They just said that the dog alerted at the top of the basement. It says Blue Star was also applied at the locations where the searching canines had alerted. The mudroom, by the garage, and at the top of the basement stairs in the hallway to the mudroom. So they did not put that latent blood stuff downstairs where we saw that spot on the floor in that video. If you go back and you watch the canine barking in the basement, you will see the little spot on the floor. And one of my subscribers sent it to me, and I rewatched it and I saw it and I was like, holy crap. Yes. And then it just proves here that Discovery did not go downstairs and do this whole thing and pick up for blood analysis in the basement. They just did it upstairs by the mudroom and by the garage. That's a shame. It is a shame. So, scene processing. No signs of blood were observed in these areas as well. Prior to testing, positive and negative presumption tests were done with expected results. While assisting with the search of the home, I observed in the kitchen trash bed sheets and pillowcases. The sheets and pillowcases were grayish in color, with numerous small light blue, light green, lavender colored squares on the sheets. The bedding was buried beneath other items of trash. Further examination showed the sheet to be a flat sheet and 3 matching pillowcases. Stains were observed on the sheet and pillowcases. Yes, Chris Putz. Chris Putz. The bedroom from the bedding from the trash was collected by the FPD. Throughout the home, several electronic items and clothing were located and collected by the FPD. CBI cleared the scene on Saratoga Trail at 10:45 on August 15th. No evidence was collected by CBI. Upon arriving at the Anadarko well site property in Rogan, Colorado at 18:20 hours on Wednesday, August 15th, several members of the Frederick and Firestone Police Department were on scene. CBI agent investigator M. Saylor and G. Zettner was present, along with several employees of an Anadarko company. I learned the CBI and FPD investigators had utilized the GPS tracking system with Chris Putt's work truck to identify the routes Putz had taken the morning the victims had been reported missing. GPS tracking identified the truck driven by Putz to have traveled to the well site we were currently looking at. The Anadarko company, as well as the owner of the Serby Ranch, had provided written consent for law enforcement to search the property identified by the GPS tracking system in the truck owned by Anadarko. Agent Saylor and Zettner informed me that members of the Firestone Police Department had utilized a drone to fly over the Anadarko property in Rogan. While the drone was in use, a video feed from the drone showed a sheet on the ground with the fenced area of the Anadarko lease land. The sheet had been compared to the photo I had sent to Agent Saylor earlier in the day when the sheets had been discovered in the kitchen trash at the home of Saratoga Trail. According to investigators on the scene, the sheets, colors, and patterns were consistent with the other one. Investigators on the scene also stated that from the video taken from the drone, an area void of vegetation had been located and appeared to have recently been disturbed. Anadarko employees stated there was no plausible reason for the disturbance on the land. The disturbed area shared common characteristics consistent with a possible clandestine gravesite. I was decided that once the warrant had been signed for the property, CBI would begin the collection of the evidence located around the scene and then begin the excavation of the possible gravesite. CBI would then conduct more extensive intrusive searches for any additional evidence that could be located within the scene. CSM Maloney and forensic scientist Schroeder arrived to assist with processing the scene at approximately 20 or 2 so that would be 12 would be 8 p.m. Sorry, it was in military time and I was trying to translate. So let's see. Yeah, I saw that video too, Joyce. That's the video I was talking about. I was talking about the stain. Hey, girl. Hey. Tristan just checked Urban Dictionary, and it's especially a derogatory term for penis, not to be used lightly. Ooh. See, I don't know if I want to. The one you sent, Mama. What do you mean, Joyce? Yes, I got that one. That's are you the one that sent it to me, Joyce? Somebody sent it to me and I seen it, and then nowhere in Discovery does it say that they checked on that stain. I've been calling him Chris Putz, and they looked up in the Urban Dictionary to see what Putz stood for, and that was the definition for it. Because I don't want to call him by his regular name, so I call him Chris Putz instead of, So anyway, where was I? The Anadarko property is leased property within the Survey Ranch, which is a 3,500-acre cattle ranch located in southeastern Weld County, Colorado. The leased property, known as Oil Tank Field Survey 319, GPS coordinates, and then it gives its coordinates, due north of I-76 and 3 miles north of the town of Rogan, is used for the extraction, collection, and storage of raw crude oil from local wells and pumps. The Anadarko well site was located approximately 9 miles north of Rogan, Colorado, along dirt roads and the dirt 2-track trails. The site itself is a 3 to 4 acre property fenced with barbed wire and secured by a locked gate on the west end. The topography and geofeatures consistent of sandy, dry soil with sparse native vegetation and dry pasture rangeland for livestock. No structures other than the oil collection tanks, pumping equipment, and the agricultural infrastructure are visible in any direction for several miles. Within the fenced area were 2 large tanks, approximately 20 feet in height and 12 feet in diameter. Each tank is equipped to hold approximately 400 barrels of crude oil, 16,800 gallons. Also within the site was a wellhead, pumping facilities, waste collection, and venting pressurization equipment. When within the site, numerous safety precautions and procedures are in place due to the toxic vapors and the volatility of the crude oil and gas. Yes, it was Midnight Meteorologist, Melinda. Thank you. All right, so Anadarko, day 1, August 15th. At the site, numerous vehicles were parked within the fenced perimeter due to diminishing daylight. Auxiliary lighting was brought into the scene by Anadarko. Located to the south and east of the wellhead was an area that appeared to have been recently excavated and filled back in. The area appeared to be approximately 8 feet by 14 feet in diameter. Living foliage was observed partially buried on and under the even ground. Once the search warrant for the property had been confirmed to have been signed, a more thorough search of the property was done. Items of evidence located were collected and packaged by myself and F.S. Schroeder. Photos were taken of the scene and without markers. Measurements were taken through the use of global positioning, polar coordinates, and laser measuring device. Blue star latent blood reagent was applied to the thief hatch of each tank after positive and negative presumption tests of the reagent had been done with expected results, and no blood was observed on each tank or the catwalk connected the tanks. On the north end of the excavated plot was a rusted rake head. The rake had been placed with the handle attachment portion buried into the ground. To the east of the plot was a wooden tool handle as well as a piece of metal that was consistent with connecting a rake head to a rake handle. On the property were 2 plastic black bags. One bag was located to the west of the excavated plot, while the other bag was located to the south. To the south of the plastic bag was a bed sheet. The sheet was a fitted sheet consistent with the same pattern and colors of the sheet I observed in the kitchen trash at the home on Saratoga Trail. At the search of the site, so here it's saying it was a fitted sheet, and somewhere else they're saying in Discovery that the sheet in the trash was a fitted sheet. So they need to figure it out. It really doesn't matter. We know that he wrapped Shanann in a sheet and put her out there, but I wanted to know if she actually made it to bed. And if he wrapped her in the fitted sheet, then yeah, that's consistent with her making it to bed. If he wrapped her in the top sheet, it was consistent with him laying her in the bed and wrapping her up. So then again, the Discovery says that it was both. It says that the sheet out in the field was fitted, and it said it was a top sheet in one part of Discovery, but on another part of Discovery, they write that it was a fitted sheet in the trash. So I don't know, but it really doesn't matter. We do not know when he killed Shanann from the time she got in till that next morning when he left. It could have been any time from 1:48 till 5:30 when he left, or whatever it was. Yeah, they shouldn't have that much access to that area. You're right, Mike Jones. To the south of the plastic bag was a bed sheet. I read that. As the search of the site continued, I observed several strands of suspected hair attached to the interior flange of the top hatch, the thief hatch, on the easternmost crude oil storage tank. After the collection of the visible evidence, CSM Maloney and I began the excavation of the suspected grave site. Approximately 9 inches below the surface grade, CSM Maloney and I located the adult female victim believed to be Shanann Watts. The victim was in fetal position with her knees pulled up to her chest at the bottom of the grave, and her feet directed up towards the top of the grave. Her chest and face primarily was facing down into the ground, while her back was oriented up. Her head was towards the west, while her feet were towards the east. Her left arm was extended to the east alongside of her head. The victim was wearing a light-colored shirt and underwear. The depth of the grave when the body was removed was approximately 27 inches in depth. The Weld County coroner took possession of the victim at 12:20 a.m. on Thursday, August 16th. All items of evidence collected at the Anadarko site on Wednesday, August 15th were transferred to Detective Boemhofer at 12:39. On Thursday, August 16th, CBI remained on scene throughout the night as part of the scene security. Images taken through the use of a drone were taken prior to the arrival of all investigators and supported personnel to the scene at approximately 7:30. At approximately 10 o'clock on Thursday, August 16th, the process on unloading the contents of the tanks in search of the 2 juvenile female victims and other evidence began. Anadarko employees and their subcontractors began the process of unloading and emptying the tanks. This consisted of draining the tanks through a gravity feed line at the base of each tank into a collection tray. The tray was then emptied through a 4-inch hose with an attached 3/8-inch strainer into a vacuum system attached to the tanker's truck. Once the tanker truck had been filled and no items of evidence had been identified during the course of draining the tank and the filling the truck was released with its contents from the scene. Once the tanks were emptied, entry to the tanks for body recovery could only be done by specialized, trained, and certified personnel. Entry and recovery was done by the Colorado State Patrol hazardous materials team through a side hatch located near the bottom side of the tank. Entry into the tank could only be done through the use of self-contained breathing apparatus and a full hazardous material fire protection gear. Atmospheric conditions as well as volatile flash points were monitored by Anadarko employees as well as the CSP hazardous material teams. Girl, you go. Get it, girl. I know you got to go, honey bunny. You enjoy your baby. You enjoy that baby, girl. All right, and then it says victims. Upon the completion of emptying the east tank, a juvenile female victim believed to be Celeste Watts was found buried in the crude oil sludge at the bottom of the east tank. The victim was recovered by CSP, and after the recovery of the victim from the east tank, the west tank was drained under the same procedural guidelines. Again, found in the bottom of that tank in the crude oil sludge was the second juvenile victim, Bella. The victims were both the tanks were both searched for additional evidence by CSP. No additional evidence was located. The waste and overflow tank directly to the east of both tanks was visually searched for additional evidence. No evidence was identified or observed. A line search was conducted by the CSN Maloney using law enforcement personnel within the fenced area of the Anadarko scene. Line searches were also conducted outside of the fenced Anadarko lease property in the areas to the north and the west of the tanks. During the search, a possible portion of the rake was located. All right, so I am going to stop here and finish up. My son has a class. And I got to get to the post office so I can mail out these priority packages. If you don't do it priority and by tomorrow, which is the 19th, you guys, you will not get your package to the person in time by Christmas. So I'm going to jump off here. Hopefully I'll be able to come back on tonight and read some more. We made it from, I think it was 674 through 710. So we're doing good, y'all. All right. I will see you soon. Thank you all for all your love and support. I hope everybody is having a blessed holiday. And if you're not, don't worry. You're not going to be alone on Christmas. I am going live all day, you guys. I'm going to go live from 1 to 3. Then I'll be off from 3 to 5, but I'm coming back from 5 to 7. And then I'll be off again, and I'll come back from 9 to 11. So I'm going to be live from 1 to 3 on Christmas Day. For all of us that don't have anybody, who our loved ones are passed or gone, we can be here for one another and just hang out and talk and no agenda and share stories. It'll be great. I'm super excited about it. So if you think nobody's going to be on Christmas Day on YouTube, think again. Mama Beauties is going to be here for all the people just like her that don't have anybody. And so I'm super excited about that while my kids are playing with their presents and don't got no time for Mama because I cook on Christmas Eve. We eat dinner on Christmas Eve. So they won't even be needing me that day. So I need you guys just as much as you need me. And I'm so excited about it. Maybe we'll do some giveaways. Each time I go live, I'll do a different giveaway. That sounds like a plan with me. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Bye, girls. Bye. Bye, boys. Bye. And I'll be having those shirts and hoodies coming soon after the first of the year. I just don't want to bombard the lady that's making them right now because she just got out of the hospital. God rest her soul. So talk to y'all later. Bye.